How you doing? Welcome to the next video. Today I want to talk about how to reduce the pain or the discomfort of stopping drinking alcohol. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. That's an old Buddhist saying, and I think there's a lot of truth into it. I think pain is sometimes a gift that you get in life because it points you in a direction, or it points you away from something. Stop doing that, stop stepping on that nail, because if you don't, it's going to cause you more and more pain. That's physical pain. Emotional pain is the same thing. It's there for a reason. We've developed these things not just to make you angry or pissed off or sad or whatever. It's something which is a motivational tool that we have. Now, it's never nice to have pain. It's sometimes essential. But I want to give you a few ways that you can reduce the pain, which is often linked to stopping drinking alcohol. And when I say linked to it, I mean that it's not inevitable, right? The suffering part of it, that, so we say, when you step across that line and you start suffering because you're stopping drinking alcohol, that is not inevitable, right? There's a certain amount of discomfort that's going to happen because of it. So I call this the step down method, and it's just a part of what we use over on V2 for really taking a step back and seeing things from a different perspective. The first thing I want you to think about or talk about now is step down from the triggers. So ask yourself first two questions. What's in your control? What's not in your control? And generally we're talking about, when we're talking about these things of control, we're talking about people, places, and mental stuff. Now, there's very few things that you can control about other people, because they've got their own will and they want to do their own thing, and regardless of what you want, they've got their own motivations in life. They've got their own life to live, so they're going to do their own thing. Environment is sort of a similar thing. There's certain things that you can't do anything about in the environment. You can't do anything about alcohol advertising, for instance, right? You can turn it off, but you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about the billboard that's on the road driving to work. That's going to be there. You can't go and rip it down, and you're going to get arrested, put into jail. What you can do a lot about is the stuff that goes on up here, and I'll talk about that a bit more in a bit later on this video. But for now, just understand that your reaction, you're always in control of that. How you react to things, how you respond to something, you can always find a way of stepping down from that trigger that you're going through, from the discomfort that you're going through, if you have a mind to do it, right? Step two is you step down from the pain by mental reframing. So what I'm talking about, reframing, we're going back to that, thinking about things from the perspective of how you respond, how you react to something. And if you see yourself as weak, this is a form of narrative that you're telling yourself. If you say to yourself, well, I can't do this because I'm weak, then you're most likely you're going to have weak thoughts, because you're telling yourself these stories, right? If you have weak thoughts, you're going to make weak decisions. From weak choices, you're going to see choices from a weak perspective, from a very, from a perspective of, well, that's out because that will take a strong person. To be able to do this and that and the other, I can't do any of those because that would take a strong person, and I'm a weak person. So that affects that. And all of this then affects the actions that you're going to take, right? So whether or not you complete this. Another aspect of this is to look at, I've already sort of hinted at this earlier on, is to look at it whether it's pain or whether it's discomfort or not. And most people who go through this journey will not have any physical pain. It's always discomfort, and it's always mental discomfort, Oh, I wish I could have a drink now. I feel this, I feel that. I feel the emotions of want and need. I feel like I'm missing out. That is mental discomfort, and you can turn that dial way up or way down depending on what you're doing. Another way that we can do this, especially with the discomfort levels, is to look at or contrast the discomfort that you feel before with the discomfort that you're going to feel after. So the discomfort, the pain that has caused you all the way through these years. When I stopped drinking alcohol, I was in a lot of emotional pain. I was in some physical pain, but I was in a lot of emotional pain, a lot of beating myself up, and just emotional shit that was like, why have you been doing this for so long? Where's your life going to? I'm in my mid-40s and my life has fucking gone nowhere. So what am I doing to myself, and why have I got to this stage? This is all a mental emotion. Some of it is mental torture because there's no need for you to do that, but it's a mental torture that's going to push you across the line to changing things that you're doing. Then contrast that with the small amount of discomfort that you're going to go through as you stop and you go through the whatever, the cravings that you get, right? You have to think about it from that perspective, and then think about short-term discomfort versus long-term, or short-term pain versus long-term pain. The short-term pain is the pain that you're going to go through because you're stopping drinking alcohol. It's not going to be very long. It's going to be descending, so you'll eventually get through it. After a few weeks, it'll all be gone. Most of that discomfort that you feel from that perspective. And the long-term stuff. Think about the long-term pain that you will have, the long-term physical pain, the long-term mental pain, the long-term life pain that you will have if you don't stop drinking alcohol, right? So that's another way of doing it. Think about, if you haven't, by the way, signed up for our quick start guide yet, the preparation guide, it's down below in the description. Now, this is meant to, it's less than an hour, it will take you less than an hour to do. There's only a few videos in it, and it's meant to give you an insight into what to expect in your journey once you do stop drinking alcohol, what to expect once you get past 30 days. To give you an idea about these things, to sort of clarify your position where you are now and where you're going. That all then leads to confidence in yourself. And it's one of the best tools that you can have. And the courage to step across that line, or the courage to take the next step. The next thing I want to talk about is taking a step down from the moment and thinking of the bigger picture. Sometimes we're so involved in this thing that we can't see the forest for the trees. The biggest benefits of years of no alcohol is that I remember what it was like, but it's difficult sometimes for me to have that perspective, right? To get back to that perspective. I mean, I remember a lot of stuff about the beginning. I remember a lot of stuff about waking up during the night and thinking I was having a heart attack. I remember just those constant hangovers and the hangovers getting worse. But it's difficult to get back into that position for me of feeling the pain of what it was, because I was excited in the beginning. There was a mixture of sort of pain and fear, but overall it was excitement to get on and to move on. I knew I wasn't going to drink again. So think about this from the perspective of laddering up. That as you gain more experience in this journey, you can start asking yourself these questions now. Where are you going? What is your aim? Who do you want to be? And once you get those basic ideas of which direction you're going to take after you've stopped, how you're going to re-engineer your life, if you like, or rebuild your life, then you have to take the steps that are necessary. And every step that you take upwards, every month that you get under your belt, or whatever it is, 6 months under your belt, and you're learning more and more things all the time. The more you learn, you start to think about it like a ladder. You're climbing up this ladder. That's what we call the laddering up process. And it's basically where the higher you go, the further out you can see, right? But from that perspective, how is any of this, once you get to that level where you're 6 months down the road, or a year down the road, or 5 years down the road, and you've built some of the life that you wanted to build because of this one foundational thing that you did to stop drinking alcohol, how is that short-term pain that you're going through now in the beginning, how is that going to matter? When you get where you want to go in life, how is that going to matter in life? So, and the final one I want to do is a bit of a funky one. Funky in a good way, but it's to literally step down on it, right? And it's a great way to ease the pain of the moment is to use your body's own chemical store, right? We've got a lot of stuff, dopamine, oxytocin, all of those kind of things, all of those good chemicals that make you feel good, right? Exercise is one of those things that releases all kinds of exercise, release endorphins into your system. I love walking, and this gives me an overall feel-good factor, especially where it's somewhere I've never been before, and I'm climbing a mountain, or I'm doing something, I'm just exploring a place that I've never been. That gives me a big buzz, not just because I'm exploring, but because of the exercise factor. And it's great. I really love that part of my life. Now, I bet you didn't know also that I like dancing. I don't like it too much. I don't like it too often, and I'm very particular of where I dance and how I dance, mostly on my own, and I use it as a tool, right? It's like somebody will sing in the shower. I sometimes dance it in the den, you could call it, and I have some very specific songs that I play that sort of intertwine very beautifully with the dance for me. And it's all, for me, it's just that instant gratification thing, right? Like I said, there's nothing wrong with an instant gratification that is not causing you damage. And there's nothing wrong with it in the moment, right? It's when you get into the instant gratification mentality, that's when it's bad. But in the moment, I love that, and it's great for lifting my mood. It doesn't matter what song, some of my songs are quite silly, they're just silly songs. One of the songs that I like is Runaway Baby by Bruno Mars, and there's something about that song that just gets me going. So stick that on, have a little dance around. Don't let anyone watch me because I can't dance for Adam, and it makes me feel good. And that's the thing, if you can get down on it, step down on it, and just make yourself feel good by doing whatever it is that makes you feel good in that moment. Even if it's silly, do it on your own. Get into a room, lock yourself up in a room and do it there. But just a way. That's my take on it. Anyway, if you like that video, watch this next one. This is, I think it's here or one of the things. It's 5 changes to expect after stopping drinking alcohol for more than a month. We're going to do another one of those in a couple of weeks' time. But this one is a good one if you're just starting out. 5 changes to expect from stopping drinking alcohol for more than a month. All right. Take good care of yourself. If you haven't signed up for the course yet, we're down below. Habits V2, we're there. If you want lots of videos, lots of sequential videos, so it'll take you all the way through from preparation all the way through to 1 year alcohol-free. We take you through some really deep stuff in there. The stuff that I can't, I can't do all that stuff here on YouTube because it needs a sequence of videos in order to build up to the stages. And we've got Zoom calls and our forum, great community over there, so that's there. And yeah, I'll speak to you in the next one. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Bye now, onwards and upwards.